Well, I'm just gonna say what I said already before that upset some of the men is that I feel like men are just too damn emotional. Because how is it that you getting disrespect from a woman's hormonal imbalance? And that also goes for the PMS, postpartum depression. You guys internalize. Like if you claim you understand what your spouse, your significant other is going through, and you claim you know that, how are you finding disrespect out of that? And how are you trying to? Why do you men assume? Or you guys diagnose the woman that nah, she ain't really dealing with that right now. She's just being a bitch. Right now, she's just being mean. How I'm not
You
understanding why
know,
you guys think you
you
guys
know,
can
we
diagnose
understand
women
when
like
we're being disrespected, right? Like
huh?
we recognize when we're being disrespected. We don't make it up out of nowhere. We understand what disrespect looks like, how it manifests itself. Like
Coco, what thing
we
you giving feedback? Just mute in between.
like this isn't something where we're just saying that a woman having postpartum depression is
Hold on.
in itself disrespectful. We're not talking about a woman having postpartum and we just looking at that as disrespect. We know what being disrespected looks like. So if a woman is disrespecting her man, putting hands on her man, doing whatever, and then she says it's because I'm going through postpartum depression and you should understand that, and she uses it as a tool to manipulate him into accepting that behavior, that's where Bruiser was coming from when he said that's problematic. Is being used as a way to manipulate someone.
Now he's trying to throw in that she's physically abusive. Okay, whatever you need to do to drive in this horrible point, they don't add up. They don't add
Oh,
up. You
okay.
got to know the difference between physical abuse and using your words, and how you feel about somebody's behavior is just that, it's your feelings. But when we bring in physical abuse and we bring in certain things, and I understand verbal abuse is very toxic and wrong, but we're talking about physical abuse. You can't compare the two. You just can't.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
To
It
make
all
Call
to
on the
make the
Lord,
argument,
please bring him in the
I'm not
room.
sure if this is intentional or not, but to make the argument seem more adequate for you, how about a woman deleted her child due to postpartum? She deletes the child, and a man uses PTSD to delete a child as well. The argument isn't about the action that's occurring by the person. It's to say there's a line between when a diagnosis is an issue versus somebody weaponizing that diagnosis to do something wrong to the other person. That was his
exactly.
own.
That was my whole argument.
I
If
guess I'm just
somebody's
trying to understand
unaliving
why is it
anybody,
that
Oh my God.
there should
why is
be.
it leading to that? Why is it leading to postpartum depression, causing a woman to abuse a man? Like that's what I'm trying to understand where the physical part came from, because that is like a different type of mental issue.
I, that,
So the argument wasn't. So the argument isn't about post traumatic stress or PTA or what's the other word? I forget. You know what I'm
Postpartum
talking about.
and
Postpartum.
post-traumatic stress.
Yeah. It's not about those two things. It's about somebody weaponizing a diagnosis and men allowing that. And Darwin's initial point, which Sweeney was backing up, and I agree with, was people can't use traumatic experiences in their life to put trauma on other people, and to allow somebody to do that creates an issue within the relationship that is hard to come back from, but you allowed it under the guise of trying to understand the other person's trauma. So an example would be a man with PTSD can't control his temper. So he's yelling and screaming at the women, the kids, and everybody in the house, and says, hey, I can't do anything about this because of my PTSD. Adversely, a woman with postpartum is doing the same thing, yelling at the husband and the kids. They're both unacceptable, but they're saying the reason they're doing it is because of this. And we're saying you can't weaponize your trauma. You need to get help for it, be it man, woman, or child, and don't allow it to hurt someone else, man, woman, or child.
exactly.
I agree. You need to get help if you have something that's making you lash out on somebody else. You absolutely need to get help. Absolutely. There's no excuse for that. And it shouldn't go untreated. I agree.
I wanted
Hold
to
on, hold
ask
on,
the second part of that.
wait. Hold on, wait. Did she say she
What you
agreed?
mean?
I just wanted to write that down and date it January 2nd.
Take a picture.
Thank you. It took us almost 30 minutes, but there we go.
You got the result you wanted. All right, so Are black men unfairly blamed for the rise in single motherhoods?
So as a collective, yes. The individuals responsible for it, no. So like I don't think any of us on this panel have a single parent household. So we shouldn't be blamed for, like I was talking to my wife the other day, and I was like, I took offense to the stereotype that black men don't take care of their kids. And she was like, yeah, you was like, all right, hold my beer. That's the joke. Like you went so far above and beyond what any type of man, parent, to be a good father. And it does stem from me taking offense to that. And I'm sure a lot of other men, especially in our generation, felt the way about black men being labeled the single father, baby mama makers. And this current iteration of black men in general, I don't think the majority of us are okay with men not taking care of their kids or pushing that forward. So much so we said on the panel before that we'll stop being friends with people and can't fuck with men that don't take care of their kids. Like I know I said that. I think some of the other people on the panel may have agreed with that sentiment. If you're not going to be active in your children's life, you can't love your kids. I doubt you could have love for me and be a friend to me, because this your own flesh and blood. So if you could just write them off like they nothing, you'll do that to any, you know what I'm saying, without just cause. So
That's
the
valid.
men that are responsible for it should be ridiculed and hung from a string, hung from a light pole. But I don't think that translates to the majority of men. The majority of black men are not irresponsibly creating single mother-led homes. The majority, I don't think so.
Got it. Sharon, what you got on that?
Ali just done popped up out of nowhere. Look at that.
Yes, he did.
I've not seen you in a minute.
Out of nowhere, right?
Okay. Show
How
me.
y'all doing, man? How y'all doing, man?
What's going on, Ali?
What was the question again? I'm sorry. I just got.
Okay. So are black men unfairly blamed for the rise in single mother households?
For our black men unfairly,
Blamed for the rise in single mother households.
and I don't think so. I mean, I don't think they're being. I mean, I think that it's unfair to blame a group of people when it's not a whole group of people, right? I think that
Okay.
people. It is unfair if you're lumping all black men together. That would be unfair. Because you guys are fathers, you guys are husbands, you're with your kids all the time. Even I know Ali has a son. I mean, yes, he has a child, and I know he's an active father. So I think that will be unfair to say that black men, because when you say something like black men, it sounds like you're saying all black men, right? So that in itself absolutely is unfair, because that would be an untrue statement.
Okay. All right. So Aisha, what you got?
I agree with Shan. I don't think that you can say that as a whole. Like I have a father. I was raised by that. I think that all the men in my life have great dads and they are good fathers. So I think that it's hard for me to encompass everybody as a whole. Now, are there bad fathers out there? Of course. There are bad moms out there as well. But I just don't want to put the blame on one person or the other.